Now, I'm no Ivy League school graduate, but I looked at this data and I thought, well, duh. I mean, doesn't it make sense? You've got to know your stuff, you've got to learn with people, right? What was astounding to me, though, is which one was most important and by how much. So this is going to be your first partner interaction, which means you're going to find somebody near you. I'm going to give you 37 seconds, and here's your task. Out of these two, which one's most important, and then determine by how much. Is it 50-50, 60-40? What do you think it is? 37 seconds, ready, set, and go. How many of us would say products and processes are most important? Good, nobody has to leave the room, right? So it's people, obviously. By how much, though? Throw me some percentages. What do you think? 80-20, go higher. 100 and 0, not quite that high, right? 90-10, a touch lower than that. 85-15, 85-15. 85% of your success is going to be based upon your ability to get along with people. What really got my knickers in a twist about this one, though, is this. I have 2 college degrees. Do you want to know how many classes I had on how to get along with people? 0. We're here to learn how we can become a person of influence. And let me begin this by telling you my story. So for most of my life, all I wanted to do was to be a principal of a school. I went and I got my undergrad degree in social studies in ESL. I taught at Shakopee High School for several years. And then I got my administrative certificate from the University of Minnesota. I worked as an assistant principal for a couple of years in some schools up in the Twin Cities area of Minnesota. And then one fine day, Owatonna Junior High School called me up and said, hey, Jason, how would you like to be our junior high principal? Now, I know for some of you, that's the content of nightmares, right? Are you kidding me? Girl drama, trying to find drugs, and no, you can't get enough extra credit on the last day of school to move your grade from an F to a C? But that was my dream. It was my career aspiration. So I said, absolutely, I'll be your junior high principal. I hung up the phone, ran over to my wife, we did the happy dance together, and we moved our family from Shakopee down to Owatonna. And the first year of leadership was everything I imagined it to be. People were nice to me. They invited me to their social events. They did what I asked them to do. It was beautiful. And then year 2 hit. And in year 2, I found myself hiding in a portable classroom. You see, the gloves came off in year 2, and I'd recognized that I was leading a school with an extremely toxic culture. Our teachers weren't being nice to each other. We had some serious issues in regards to student discipline and attendance. When it comes to standardized test scores, we had nothing good to talk about at all. And here I was as the principal of this junior high, trying to figure out how to solve these issues. You see, I realized that everything rises and falls on leadership. So even though I didn't cause all these problems, I certainly did cause some of them, but even though I didn't cause some of these problems, I knew that it was my job to help solve these problems. So we were stuck. And I did what probably most of you would do when you're stuck. I started working harder, going in earlier, staying later, pulling some weekends, trying to figure out how can we turn this school around? Like, what do we need to do to get to a better place with the school? And I worked and worked and worked and worked and worked and worked, but nothing changed. I was truly stuck. I imagine that you've probably been stuck professionally. So here's a second question for you and your partner. When you're stuck professionally, what feelings do you experience, right? When you're trying really hard, but it's just not working, what kind of feelings come across your body? Got about 1 minute, 12 seconds for this one. Go ahead and turn to a partner and share. I'm curious, can I get 2 emotions from this side? Give me an emotion. What do you feel when you're stuck? Frustrated. What else? Annoyed. Oh, I like that one. Annoyed, right? 2 emotions from the middle. What do we got? Disappointment. What else? In the back. Frustration? Lack of energy, right? Okay. What do we got? A couple emotions over here. Anxiety and? Anger. Oh, anger. Yes, yes, yes. Some of you are speaking like you're in this moment right now. And it is true. We get stuck, right? We get stuck in positions. This was the big case for me. I'm trying really, 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 really hard. Nothing's working. So for me, it was frustration at the beginning. That's where I was stuck. Because it wasn't working. Then that frustration turned into anxiety. Are they going to fire me?
Am I good enough for my job? Did they choose the right person? I'm starting to just have all these questions and wondering, and it's just creating, sick to the stomach and just, doesn't want to eat, all kinds of crazy stuff like that, right? That anxiety eventually turned over to depression, which is why I found myself hiding in this portable classroom several times over the course of several months, wanting to just get out. I just wanted to be done.
So I've studied this for the last 6 years. I've really tried hard to get a good understanding of what it takes to have influence with other individuals. And this is a complicated subject. There are hundreds of books, maybe even thousands of books on influence and leadership. And I'm a simple guy. I like to break things down into a very simple way. So here's what I got for you. Today I'm going to share with you 4 different components of influence. And then for each one of these components, I'm going to share with you one practical, relevant tool that you can take away right now, today.
4 tools. We've talked about connecting already. Let's get into care. What's the best way we can show care? It's just like this. Right? Denny, when you come to work, let's be honest. Are you only asking one question? Does anybody give a crap that I'm here? Right? Does anybody give a crap about what I do? Is anybody even noticing that I show up every day, positive attitude, working hard, getting stuff done? Is anybody even noticing that? And we're all asking that question. And as leaders, as influencers, what we should be doing is making sure that the answer to that question is a resounding yes. Let's practice sincerity. I want you to look at the person you're sitting next to and just look real closely and just say, gosh, I love your hair. I wish I had your hair. Go ahead and turn to your neighbor and say it.
You see, giving a crap's not necessarily always the easy thing to do. Sometimes we don't want to give a crap at all, but we know that every single one of our employees, everybody in our organization, they want to know that we actually do give a crap about them. By the way, for those of you wondering, CRAP is an acronym. It stands for Celebration, Recognition, Appreciation, and Praise. C-R-A-P, CRAP. Celebration, Recognition, Appreciation, and Praise.
How in the world did we get there? What did we do? What made this happen? You're forced to. And sometimes that works, right? What else happened? There was listening. Why? Because I told you to. You were forced to, right? but listening really did make a big difference, didn't it? What else?
We have to talk about ourselves.
We love to talk about ourselves. We do love to talk about ourselves. You want to be a great listener? Shut up, ask good questions, and just listen. Because people love to talk about themselves.
Thank you for joining me, okay? Imagine for a minute that Nan and I are co-workers, right? We work at the same place. And I'm showing up to work, it's in the morning, I see her in the hallway, I walk by and I say, hey Nan, how's it going?
Great.
Good. Yep. And she says good. Okay? That's standard. She might ask me the question, right? If I ask you how you're doing, what do you normally ask me?
How you doing?
And I'm doing fine. And we keep walking by from each other. These are what I call dumb questions. D-U-M-B, don't use my brain.
I'm going to ask you to put your hand up in the air in just a moment to kind of support this evaluation. We're going to rate it on a scale of 0 to 5. Thinking about the conversation you've just had, how well did you connect? A 0, which is just going to be a fist, is like, who the heck is this strange lady and why did she keep talking to me? Okay? Whereas a 5 would be, we're going for beers after this. Okay? So let's put our hands up in the air, rank yourself, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. How well did you connect with the person you're sitting next to or your partner? And this is a day we learned as parents that when you focus on your weaknesses, the very best you can expect is average. Again, when you focus on weakness, the very best you can expect is average, and nobody likes average. Imagine there's a coffee shop, Josh, that goes up near your home, and they say, hey, come get our coffee, it's average. Would you go? Probably not, right? It's just, Tom, can you imagine, like, your local hospital says, hey, come schedule your surgery today. We've got average surgeons, right? Or Federal Ammunition that comes out and says, you know what? We're pretty average in regards to our safety. It might go off, it might not. I don't know, right? Of course not. What does Federal care about? Highest quality product, best prices. Because that's what we want. We all want exceptional, extraordinary. We want uncommon. We want things to be incredibly good. And to get there with our employees, we have to focus on their geniuses.
I said, hey, Ethan, Notice you got an A in math, huh? Yeah, Dad. Tell me about that class. Oh, I love it. It just seems like it comes naturally to me. In fact, I spend most of my time hanging out on my phone waiting for the other kids to catch up. Say, Ethan, what do you think about us talking to your teacher and seeing if there's a right class placement for you? Maybe there's a more advanced class we can get into. And perhaps there's an after-school activity or club that could really challenge your math skills. And you know what? I've got a good friend who's a financial advisor. He uses math every single day. I bet I could schedule some time to be able to just sit and watch him do his work. Would you be interested in that? Ah, Dad, that'd be ham. I'd love to do that. You see, when we focus on our strengths, there is no limit to what we can achieve.
And I can't say that I've always made the best decision as a dad. I've messed it up a lot. But right before that gun went off, I decided to stick it out with Eli. It was almost as though I counted backwards. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Gun goes off, I stick with him. And for the next 3 long and grueling miles, I poked and I prodded and I encouraged this young son to run. And as we got closer to the finish line, I slowed down to watch him cross. And there are few moments in my life that I've ever felt as much joy as I felt watching that young kid cross the line. It was an amazing experience. Still brings emotions to me today. And what's really neat about that is as leaders, as people of influence, we get this opportunity every single day. Every day people are lining up to their lines. Every day they're scared spitless. Every day they're wondering, how am I going to do this? And we're in a position to help them. We're in a position, if we're willing to move ourselves out of the way, get rid of our need for ego, and humble ourselves a little bit, we're in a position where we can count down 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 and help that person run in their own race. They might not win the race, my son didn't, but they can cross it with your help. And my challenge to you today is to shift our mindsets, to move further away from products and processes, and just hone in on this ability of focusing on people, of helping develop care and connection, collaboration, courage, helping become a person of influence so we can make a major impact on their lives. When we're sitting around grabbing a coffee up at our cabin, we're not going to be talking about how many products we got out of the door. We're not going to be talking about how many widgets we sold. We're going to be talking about the lives of people that we have changed. And you can do that when you become a person of influence. Thank you.